The sound is not loud, but it is absolute. A sharp, dry crack, like a dead branch snapping underfoot. But this sound comes from within. It comes from her. The matriarch of the small clan of Australopithecus stumbles. Her cry a sharp bark of shock more than pain. One moment, she is leading them along the game trail. Her gait is familiar, slightly rolling rhythm of her kind. The next, her leg is tangled in a root concealed by the tall grass, and the world pitches sideways. She hits the baked earth with a soft thud, a cloud of ochre dust rising around her. For a stunned second, the savannah holds its breath. The cicadas pause their shrill chorus. The rest of the clan freezes, at a blow of confusion against the vast, indifferent landscape. This is life million years ago, where the line between existence and oblivion is as thin as a blade of grass. The large male, his powerful shoulders and heavy brow marking the clear sexual dimorphism of their species, is the first to react. He moves toward her not with comfort, but with a wary, animal caution. He circles, his dark eyes scanning the horizon before settling on her twisted limb. The leg lies at an angle that does not belong in nature. A shard of white bone, glistening and obscene, tints the hairy skin of her shin. The smell of blood, coppery and rich, begins to perfume the air. For these early humans, living a precarious prehistoric life, this is no simple injury. There is no healing, no mending. A shattered leg is a death warrant, signed by gravity and executed by the first predator to catch the scent. And the scent is already traveling. It is a subtle message, an invisible thread carried on the afternoon breeze that whispers of weakness, of vulnerability, of an easy meal. It flows over the grasslands, past the acacia trees, and into the keen senses of those who wait and watch. The hyenas, dozing in their dusty hollows, will stare. The lone saber-tooth, patient in the shade, will lift its great head. The calculus of the wild is brutally simple. The slow and the weak are pruned, ensuring the health of the herd and the hunger of the hunter. The matriarch's pain is a dinner bell ringing across the plains of this ancient earth. She tries to rise, propping herself on her powerful arms, her face a mask of primal agony. A low groan escapes her lips, a sound of pure misery that silences the frightened whimpers of the youngest members of the clan. The instinct is clear, etched into their very being. They must move. To stay here is to die. But she is the anchor of their world. In her mind is the map of this territory, the location of the hidden waterhole, the ripening season of the baobab fruit, the places of shelter when the sky weeps fire. To leave her is to tear out the living memory of the clan. To younger females, their own infants clinging to their backs, move to her sides. They do not run. They reach down, their long fingers gripping her arms. Their low hoots a form of encouragement. It is an act that defies logic, a flicker of something new in the long story of hominid history. They try to lift the weight of their own survival. They move. It is a grotesque, limping parody of a journey. The two females, one on each side, take the matriarch's weight across their shoulders. She hops on her good leg, her injured one dragging uselessly through the red dust, leaving a telltale furrow in the earth. Her every movement forces a low, guttural moan from deep in her chest, a constant, rhythmic expression of a pain they cannot comprehend but whose consequences they understand perfectly. The large male leads, not out of compassion, but out of a grim necessity. His head swivels constantly, his flared nostrils sampling the air, his ears twitching at the slightest rustle in the dry grass. He is a shield, a scout, a coiled spring of desperate aggression. He embodies the brutal logic of survival. Even as the actions of the females defy it, their pace is agonizing. A journey that should take an hour now stretches into an afternoon of grinding effort. The sun, a merciless hammer in the sky, beats down on them, leaching the moisture from their bodies. The world has taken notice. A shadow detaches itself from a distant termite mound. Then another. The first hyena appears, a loping, hunchbacked form against the shimmering horizon. It does not charge. It simply watches, its head low, a patient opportunist. Soon, its clan brother joins it. Their distinctive, whooping calls begin to echo across the savannah, a maniacal laughter that is anything but humorous. It is a gathering, a summons. The scent of blood has delivered its promise. The clan's slow, pained procession is a dinner invitation they cannot retract. The male turns and lets out a booming threat display, beating his chest with his palms. But the hyenas are unimpressed. They keep their distance. Just outside the range of a desperate charge, their numbers slowly growing. They will not risk a direct confrontation with the powerful male. Not yet. They are waiting for exhaustion, for darkness, for a moment of distraction. They are waiting for the inevitable. This agonizing journey rewrites the clan's ancient rhythms, their established foraging strategies, which rely on speed and mobility to cover large distances between fruit-bearing trees and root-rich clearings, are now useless. Survival becomes a desperate, moment-to-moment affair. A handful of ants scooped from a trail, a tough, withered tuber clawed hastily from the ground. These are the meager rations of a group shackled to its dying leader. The infants, sensing the rising tide of fear, begin to cry. Their small complaints a fresh beacon for the ever-present listeners. This is a pivotal, unrecorded moment in the deep chronicle of hominid history, a test of the invisible threads that bind a group together. The instinct to scatter, for each to save themselves, is a powerful current pulling them apart. Yet the grip of the females on their matriarch's arms does not loosen. It is a choice made without language, an argument won in the silent court of instinct and emerging empathy. They are carrying the weight of their own past, and gambling their future on its value. The sun bleeds across the horizon, painting the underside of the few wispy clouds in shades of bruised purple and fiery orange. For the savannah, this is not an ending, but a transformation. The world of the day hunters recedes, and the world of the night things awakens. The air cooled, carrying sounds with a new clarity. The frantic chirping of insects, the distant cough of a leopard, and, much closer, the growling chorus of hyena calls. They are no longer shadows on the horizon. They are a physical presence, a pack of more than a dozen, their forms solidifying in the twilight. Their boldness grows as the light fails. One darts in, teeth snapping inches from the matriarch's trailing foot, and is only driven back by a furious, roaring lunge from the male. He knows, they all know, the open plain is a killing floor, and they are out of time. It is then that the male stops. The entire ragged procession halts with him. He ignores the snarling perimeter of scavengers and raises himself to his full height, his eyes sweeping across the darkening landscape. It is not an act of surrender, but of calculation. He is looking for an advantage, for a change in the equation, and he finds it. Less than 100 paces away, a small outcrop of granite boulders, a kopje, rises from the flat earth like the bones of some long-dead giant. It is not a cave, not a fortress, but it offers what they have lost. Playground, defensibility, a chance. He gives a shot, commanding bark. The choice is made. What follows is a desperate, adrenaline-fueled scramble. They abandon all pretense of caution, their clumsy formation breaking into a lurching run. The females half-drag, half-carry the matriarch. Her pain-filled cries now sharp yelps of terror. The hyenas, sensing a final, panicked flight, surge forward. The chase is on. The last few yards are a blur of dust and fear. The male reaches the rocks first, turning to face the oncoming pack. A terrifying vision of defiance. He buys the others precious seconds as they claw their way up the rough granite, skinning their knees and palms. They haul the matriarch up the incline, her dead weight a terrible anchor. Her groans a constant measure of their struggle. Finally, they are assembled on the highest ledge, a space barely large enough for them all. Below, the pack swarms the base, a sea of snapping jaws and hungry eyes. The clan has made its stand. The male finds a loose, fist-sized stone, its weight familiar in his hand. He brandishes it, a crude but potent extension of his will. This is the dawn of primitive technology, born not of ingenuity and peace, but of desperation in conflict. Behind him, the females and young ones form a tight circle around the matriarch, their bodies a living shield. Their fear is still palpable, a scent hanging in the air, but it is now fused with something else, a collective will. This is social cohesion forged in the crucible of a crisis. They are no longer a scattering of individuals. They are a fist, small and vulnerable, but clenched against the darkness. The hyenas leap and snarl against the base of the rocks, but they cannot reach. For now, the clan has survived the day, but the moon is rising, and the long, cold night has only just begun. Embers and echoes. We pull back from this small island of rock, this pocket of desperate defiance in the immense darkness of the African night. What we have witnessed is more than the survival of one small group. It is the rehearsal of a strategy that would ultimately allow our ancestors to conquer a world that was not made for them. Their choice to protect the matriarch was not sentiment. It was a gamble on the future, an unconscious understanding that the knowledge stored within her mind, the map of seasons, the memory of child, the lore of survival was more valuable than her broken body was a liability. This is the calculus that separates a simple herd from a society. The decision to carry the weak was a decision to carry their entire history. Their act of social cohesion was not just a shield against the hyenas of the night. It was the forging of the first, most fundamental to love human evolution, the community itself. In their defense of one, they were defending the collective memory that would become the foundation of culture, the bedrock of everything we are. The echoes of that choice still resonate within us, in the instinct to protect our elders, to care for our sick, to believe that a person is more than the sum of their physical utility. How much of our modern compassion was born in moments just like this, in the cold, primal fear of a Pliocene night. The past is not a foreign country. It is the soil from which our own bones are formed. What happens when the greatest threat is not a predator, but the sky itself?